Sinead O'Connor in the middle of the day. You're listening to Eamonn McDevitt here on Around the Northwest, sitting in for John Breslin today, loving life, having a great time here. Now, I'm going to bring in today's guest, extraordinary man. We have Eamonn Keaveney. Now, Eamonn is from Claremorris in County Mayo. Listen to this for a story. So he has embarked on an extraordinary barefoot walk from Istanbul back to Ireland. So I'm going to say hello to Eamonn. I hope you're there for me, Eamonn. Are you there?
You.
Hello there. How's it going?
Not too bad now. And yourself?
Good. All good. Thank you. So you can hear me. You can hear me pretty clearly, I'm hoping.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
Excellent stuff. So, Eamonn, I really welcome you to Highland Radio. We're delighted to have you on board with us today. You are an extraordinary specimen, I have to say. I've been following your journey and reading your story. And first of all, major congratulations on your achievements so far. So well done to you. And later in this conversation, I'm going to ask about your poor little feet. But before that, I have to ask you about the achievement so far and also how the idea was hatched, because you're no stranger to these long walks. So take us on the journey in reverse, if you like.
Right. So at the minute, I'm in County Kerry and I'm coming towards the end of a very long walk. I'm walking barefoot from Istanbul all the way to Claremorris, County Mayo. I've done north of 6,000 kilometers at this point, and I'm trying to get the Guinness World Record for the longest barefoot journey. I'm also raising funds for Jigsaw and Friends of the Earth, and the why as well. I do get asked that a fair bit, and this big walk is on the back of another one that I did back in 2016. I walked barefoot around Ireland, and which took me through lovely Donegal as well, I must say.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite parts, to be honest. And it's you know, I mean, it kind of came from a few things, but I suppose one of the seminal moments was seeing the record at the time for the longest barefoot journey, which was in the book, and I saw it and I thought, oh, I can try and do that.
Well, good stuff. And I do commend you on the charities that you have chosen in this. Now, each time you do a walk, do you pick a different charity? Oh, there you are. Nice one to see you there. Do you pick a different charity, or do you stick to the same charities, or how do you choose your charities? Because you're going for Jigsaw and Friends of the Earth, which are two very worthy charities.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a big believer in kind of spreading things around, and I do like to kind of do things for different charities. My walk in 2016, that was for suicide prevention, and I did a unicycle thing, Mizzen to Malin, a few years ago as well, and that was for homeless people. And then this time around, I was thinking, you know, what are things that are important to me, basically. Mental health remains very important to me. And Jigsaw, they provide free mental health services to young people all across the country.
They do,
which
yep.
I think is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But also, as I've gotten older, environmental matters have become more of a concern for me, as they have for many people.
Mm-hmm.
So I went with Friends of the Earth as well, and the proceeds go 50-50 to them. And I think there's a good kind of synergy with Jigsaw and Friends of the Earth, in the sense that there's a lot of young people now who have this kind of, you know, this kind of doomerism thing where people are almost kind of giving up already.
Yes, because the world is on fire at the moment. It seems like the
Yeah.
world is on fire, and it seems to be a very scary place for young people, you know, because we have so much access to what is going on everywhere at any minute. Do you know what I mean? When I was younger, you had the 9 o'clock news, and that was it. That was all you knew about what was going on in world events, but it's everywhere now. So you are 100% right in what you say.
Oh yeah, 100. I mean, that's the thing. You've got a constant flood of news, and obviously, the news is it has a negative tint to it, you know. So it's easy to get overwhelmed.
So when we see a good news story like yours involving such a momentous achievement on your behalf, it's not that we're cynical. We're certainly not far from it, but we're like, that's nuts, because people very rarely put themselves in positions where harm, first of all, can come to themselves, where it's an absolute endurance. And, you know, I've spoken about this to a few people over the weekend because I knew you were coming on, and everyone's like, oh my God, he's nuts, he's crazy. But at the same stage, it is so heartwarming to have somebody to put themselves out there to do something so difficult to help other people. So well done you. I really do commend you on that. Totally do, you know.
Oh, well, thanks very much.
You're very welcome. Okay, so the logistics of it, you have gone through plenty countries: Turkey, Bulgaria, Hungary, Austria, Germany, the Netherlands, UK, and back into Ireland. So, how do you work out where do you go when you're taking on a journey like this? And you are also, am I right? You're relying on a lot of help. You're relying on people to be kind to you and to be good to you and to help you on this journey.
Oh yeah, I mean, in terms of the planning and the logistics of it, I mean, I wanted to start off in Istanbul because that's where Europe meets Asia,
Hmm.
and then I wanted to get obviously to Ireland, is where I'm from. I'm currently, the reason I'm in Kerry at the minute is I wanted to go to the westernmost point in Ireland before I go up to Mayo, because it's not exactly the most direct path, and I've had a few people wondering what I'm doing here.
Yeah, yeah.
But I plotted out my route. I actually went to France rather than Netherlands,
Okay,
simply because I wanted to go through France.
right.
Nothing on the fine Dutch people.
You
I wanted
just
to go through France.
clearly hadn't walked
Um,
enough at
but
that stage.
I've received it would have been a bit faster. But as you said, like I've received some amazing hospitality from people, and that's been kind of across the whole trip. You know, I've had lots of people trying to offer me lifts, trying to give me shoes, which I can't accept, or giving me food and water and stuff like that, which is really nice, really amazing. And the reception, particularly that I've returned to Ireland as well, has been absolutely incredible. It's been a few weeks since I got back to Ireland, and I've been pretty much put up along the entire stretch in Ireland, whether in people's houses or private accommodation that's let me stay for free,
That is
which is
so
just
heartwarming to hear
amazing.
that. Yeah, it's so good. People are still good, you know. You know, despite what we think, we have a lot of cynicism about people, but people are still good and kind at heart. So let me ask you, Eamon, about your little feet. What is the story? You have thorns in your feet at the moment, and the feet are not doing great, but they're possibly doing better than they were a couple of days ago. Am I right?
They are absolutely. So yes, thorns have been kind of my nemesis. I mean, throughout, but particularly here in Ireland, the hedges were recently trimmed in many places. So the roadside where I would tuck in to let cars go past is kind of a minefield. And usually, you feel them, you get them out before they manage to kind of work their way under the skin. Sometimes you have to crack the tweezers out. And this particular one that I got back when I was walking through Cork there, unfortunately, the wound got infected. I did get to a medical centre here in the Dingle Peninsula, and they sorted me out with some medicine. And it's healing right up, and I'm looking forward. I think I'm going to be able to get back on the road again tomorrow. So I'm
So,
delighted.
when you sustain an injury like that, clearly you have to stop what you're doing and wait for it to heal and then get back out there again. You can't walk on wounded feet. Would that be correct? Or
Yeah, and
do you push it a bit?
I mean, I've had wounds, I've had like cuts, and I've had parts of the skin of my foot been like wearing away from too much walking barefoot, and then I've eventually needed to kind of hit the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't had anything this bad, but I mean, it would be both really foolish to walk on an active infection, and for me it was physically impossible.
Yeah.
I stood up in the morning, and I couldn't put weight on my foot at all without some excruciating pain. So sometimes you get a bit of a curveball. To say that I was disappointed, that I had to kind of stop the momentum would be fairly accurate.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, your body can only take so much.
Of course. Sometimes the body, with the best will in the world and all of the best help, sometimes the body just says, no, it's time to stop now, until you replenish and heal, The other thing, are you working towards a time, do you have a time constraint on when your completion is? Because you've got to factor in your
Uh,
feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's been this the finishing line has been this like constantly moving thing. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean? I was telling a few weeks ago, I would be saying to people, "Oh, I'll be finishing in mid-February," and then that slowly shifted to late February, and now it's looking like early March, particularly because of this foot wound has stalled me for several days. So it's hard to know because I don't know exactly where I'll be stopping each day. I have a few weeks left, and I need to sort out my itinerary
Of course.
basically. And then you could get a curveball. You could get, well, touch wood, I don't get another sort of infection or anything. But who knows? There could be a sudden cold snap in February now, and there could be 6 inches of snow everywhere,
Oh,
and I
my
might want to
Lord.
take a day for that to melt. And so we'll see. But I'm thinking early March, hopefully.
And how do you deal with the cold every day on your feet?
Well,
Or you're
you
just used
sort
to
of
it?
you get used to it. I mean, there was a bit there in Wales. This was a few weeks ago now. At the sort of at the end, early January, it was very cold. I know it was cold here as well.
Mm-hmm.
In Wales at the time, it was very frosty. There was a little bit of snow. Thankfully, not too much. And I mean, the first 2 or 3 hours of walking in the day, your feet are very very cold. But you warm up. The feet do kind of adapt to it. It's not something that I would recommend. I wouldn't recommend walking in very cold conditions
Ooh.
to somebody who's never done any barefoot walking, because you will kind of hurt your feet. But my feet are used to not being in shoes. And speaking from experience, I know that when I put shoes on after this, that they're going to be horrendously warm
Uh-huh.
because they've adapted to not having anything on them. So they'll be there like just absolutely roasting in shoes.
The body is
But
funny, isn't it? The way it can adapt to your different climates and situations and things like that. It's crazy, isn't it? Now, Eamonn, what I want to know is anybody who wants to help you on your journey, either through places to stay or the money end of things, is a massive thing. If anybody would like to donate or get it or follow you, where can we find you? Where can people help you out?
okay, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. It's just Barefoot Across Europe. So that's nice and easy to remember. If anyone does have a place to stay, do message me. That'd be great. I have a video up with my kind of provisional route on it. But also, in terms of donations, all donations much appreciated. For that, it's idonate.ie. It's Barefoot Across Europe on idonate.ie. And the proceeds go 50-50 to Jigsaw and Friends of the Earth.
Okay, so tell me again your socials again so we can make sure that people do find you. It's Barefoot Across Europe. That's
Barefoot
correct.
Across Europe. Yeah.
Nice one, nice one. Listen, I'm just going to suggest you get on the pair of nice fluffy socks for the rest of the day and hope that you heal and that have a bit of a rest for yourself. Sir, you are an absolute superhero, and I take my hat off to you and everybody here at Highland Radio. We wish you safety and strength of spirit, and look after those little feet. And the finish line hopefully will be maybe sooner than you hope. You get a little bit of a wind in your back, as they say, and you get home quicker than you had anticipated. I mean, you've been an absolute joy. I do thank you. And I'm going to play a tune that I think is a little fitting for this. Superheroes, the script. What do you think? Will that do?
Oh, brilliant. Thanks very much, Anne-Marie.
Listen,
Cheers.
pleasure.